less than 2 weeks away from a couple of teams reporting to training camp. The Bears will be one of the first teams reporting, as they will be playing in the Hall of Fame game. And I saw CBS Sports put out, are these current players future Hall of Famers? I felt, let's play a little game, shall we? Is this a future Hall of Famer? And we start in Las Vegas, a guy who might want out of Vegas, but it is Davante Adams, who over his career has 6 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros. He's led the NFL in touchdowns multiple times. His career numbers very good. Currently 29th all-time in receptions, 44th in receiving yards, 12th all-time, though, in career touchdown catches, and he's 5 touchdowns away from the 100 mark. Now, we've got a logjam when it comes to receivers, it seems like every year. Torrey Holt's still not in this thing. But do we think Davante Adams is a future Hall of Famer?
Let me ask you this question. He's not better than Jerry Rice.
No.
Is Larry Fitzgerald in the Hall of Fame yet?
He will be.
He will be, but
okay.
no.
I don't think
yet.
he's reached the 5 years yet.
How about Terrell Owens?
Yeah, he's there.
He is. I know he's there.
But
yeah.
I don't think Davante Adams is better than T.O.
Randy Moss?
No.
Absolutely not. No.
Isaac Bruce?
You better than Isaac Bruce. You could have some conversations.
There's a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tim Brown?
No.
Marvin Harrison?
No.
Andre Johnson?
I'll say no.
I lean no there.
I'll say no. I mean,
Okay.
Davante Adams has Aaron Rodgers.
You guys are making a case that he might not be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not first ballot.
I mean,
he's not a shoo-in.
I've seen guys like James Lofton play, back in the day, and James Lofton's a Hall of Famer. 14,000 yards in his career. Like he's like 12th or 13th all time for reception yards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that I would rather have Adams than I would James Lofton. There's always that. Sometimes in some positions, there's the Hall of good enough.
I hate that, dude.
Hall
of Fame needs to be
too.
prestige.
Yeah, I do, and I think it's gotten better, but I just wonder with the names I've named, like the Marvin Harrisons, Chris Carter, is a Hall of Famer in the Minnesota Vikings,
And it took him forever.
It did.
It took him forever, and it does with wide receivers. So I could see eventually Davante Adams getting in, but he wouldn't be.
That's going to take some time.
It'll take a long time.
I think another receiver on here that I think would be an easy no for all of us, if it's because Davante Adams is better than this player, would be Keenan Allen. That's a no.
That's a no.
Okay, yeah, it's a no.
What about Mike Evans? Mike Evans is an interesting case here
Yeah, he does.
because he doesn't have any All-Pros, but he is the first player in NFL history to start his career with 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons, an accomplishment that no other Hall of Famer could have. He's also one of just 4 players in NFL history to have at least 750 catches, 10,000 receiving yards, and 90 touchdown catches in his first season. The other 3, all Hall of Famers, Rice, Marvin Harrison, and Randy Moss. Also, he does not have a Super Bowl, which those other ones do outside of Randy Moss. But Mike Evans, Texas A&M Aggie, man, I think I would lean Evans' case over Davante Adams because Mike Evans, we've seen him do it with some bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Mike Evans or Calvin Johnson?
Calvin Johnson.
Mike Evans and this is going to be probably, this is where he is. This is where he's fallen. Michael Irvin.
I'd still go Michael Irvin.
I would too.
Okay, is that a Cowboy bias there, or is
Absolutely.
that okay?
I do. I mean, if Michael Irvin is, he's a multi-time champion and he's shown up in big time moments. I don't think you can duplicate that.
Yeah.
So I think it's more than just a Cowboy bias on that one. I
think there's some guys up here too that I'm looking at. Like I'm looking at Jimmy Smith. That I used to,
Jimmy Smith, fantastic player. I would take Mike Evans over Jimmy Smith.
Would you take Mike Evans over DeAndre Hopkins?
Yes, I think when you look at
DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think in their primes, like Hopkins was there. Hopkins probably ranked higher for me, but when you look at that consistency there, Mike Evans has that over DeAndre Hopkins.
See, I've been with Urban Fryer, 12,000 yards in his career. I don't think he's a Hall of Fame receiver. Art Monk has 12,000 yards. Art Monk played in the 80s, with the Commanders. Really good player. Brandon Marshall's up on that list too. You think Brandon Marshall's a Hall of Famer?
No.
Okay, well they're in the same. We're all in the same.
Yeah, I mean ultimately,
boat here.
I don't see it'll take a long time. He's got a case, but I don't think he is a guy that you're banging the table for. Oh my gosh, he's got to be in the Hall. I don't think so. When you're talking about Mike Evans or DeAndre Hopkins.
What's the number? What's the yards he gets every year? How many?
10 straight seasons of 1,000-yard seasons. Did get that Super Bowl with Tom Brady, and he's just one of 4 players to have at least 750 catches, 10,000 yards, and 90 touchdowns in his first 10 years. The other 3, Rice, Harris, and Moss, all in the Hall of Fame.
If you put him, if you just give him 1,000 yards, say, that would move him up from 33rd to somewhere in the range of 23 of all time yards.
Mm.
If you just had 1,000.
Yeah, like Mike Evans' career, I think, has been pretty slept on. It really has. It's pretty unbelievable what he's done.
Yeah.
It really, really is. All right, last one. Let's go to a running back here. Derrick Henry. Career stats, of course, he's got the 2,000-yard season. He tied Tony Dorsett's long record with a 99-yard touchdown run. 2-time rushing champ. Also led the NFL in touchdown runs on multiple occasions.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry's probably deserving. I do. I don't know that it's a first ballot guarantee, like when you see Aaron Donald retire or something and you're like, okay, we know what this is, but I think he's absolutely going to be there.
Derrick Henry is in that range of 9,500 yards right now. And so that would put him 36th all time. Yeah. When you start to talk about Hall of Fame running backs, I'm not going to do the O.J. Simpson or the John Riggins or the Thurman Thomas.
I do think the
Franco Harris.
I think the running back position is now a little bit less about the full career, and it's more about what was your heyday, and was it a close to 5-year stretch of being a super beast?
Like, he's kind of been one of those last lone wolves, man. Like on the bell cow back.
See, he's in.
He's 500 yards away from 10K.
I'm telling you what, but there's if you just did it on yards, like number 7 is LaDainian Tomlinson at 13,662.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's Jerome Bettis, Eric Dickerson. Tell me when you think.
Like, I would take Derrick Henry over Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Eric Dickerson?
Can't really speak on.
I mean, from what I've seen from Eric Dickerson, he was pretty unique.
I would take Tony Dorsett over him.
Okay, but like eye test Broadus, just eye test without looking at big career numbers.
Yeah.
There was a half decade where Derrick Henry was as feared a player. I mean, I think that's a Hall of Famer.
If a comparable player to him back in the day is that number 19 is John Riggins with the Commanders. Physical, run over you, can't tackle, had the nickname the Diesel.
Yeah. Run that Diesel.
John Riggins is in the Hall of Fame with 11,352 yards.
All right.
I appreciate it, guys. I thought that was a lot of fun. We can circle back to that as well.
Sure.
Let's do it.